Now, the Forer effect. This was a sort of a psychology experiment, and it's sort of like taking one cold read that you can apply to just about everybody, and everybody will agree to. And you wouldn't believe necessarily that it would work, but a lot of the time people will agree to such a generality about themselves. It's sort of like why horoscope stuff
Yeah.
works. People read a horoscope in the newspaper, and more along the lines, they believe it because they can find a way to relate to it.
Well, they want to believe certain good things about themselves. So if you give good traits about them, they'll be more prone to agree to it. And so that's one of the keys to cold reading.
Right, and even I mean, you say good things, but I think even things where people are things that they're concerned about in their life. Like people are always concerned about their money and their love life and their family. And so when you
Yeah.
say things to them like that, like you have a great concern about your future prospects and that the well-being of your friends, of course, because most people are.
When you cold read, you can kind of break down three good categories are health, wealth, and relationships. Everyone's worried about their health to some extent, and if it's not their health, it's their money, and if it's not their money, it's their relationship. And each one of those can have an interplay, right? If you don't have enough money, you might not be able to eat and have problems with your your health. So it's all in a circle, and that's one of the things you can do. Talk
It's
about.
funny because you get the opposite effect, and this is what a lot of guys tend to do, and they do it wrong. Is that they'll start talking about themselves, and they'll give the generalities to the girl about his situation and what's going on, and even though it would be the same exact thing that he might be saying about her, and as a cold read, she would find it extremely boring. And
That's
yet,
right. Yeah.
in reverse, when you kind of talk about her having that stuff, or have that cold read about her, then she's more along the lines going to be interested in what you have to say.
It's the Dale Carnegie principle. People are more interested in themselves than other people, even though they don't realize it on a
That's
conscious
true.
level.
That's true. I mean, even that you're not trying to display that you're catering to her ego, but when you do cater to her ego without being overt about it, she's going to be more interested in you.
The other thing is that it's easy to establish like a deep connection with a woman when she feels like you know her, and the normal conversation doesn't allow you that. When you're just talking about what do you do for work, she's told everyone that. But when you're talking about like deep things about her personality that she hasn't really even realized herself, that's a connection.
It's funny. I remember I was on a plane once talking to a salesman who, he seemed like a good salesman, and he got really drunk on the plane, and he was starting to give away some of his secrets, and he pretty much told me that same thing is that when you show interest in somebody else, but not like you're trying to get something from them, just show genuine interest in them, they will be far more interested in you because of that
That's
than
right. Yeah, it's like it's like a mirror effect
You have
almost.
a lot
right.
of dreams. Some of them are completely unrealistic, but you like to dream them anyway.
Just before we fade out here, it's worth noting that this is a routine which, it's very unlikely the average guy is going to remember. It's, just get the basics of what we've been talking about here on the commentary and run with it. The fact that, you're going to do just some basic things about her.
Right.
Some of the stuff that he says, admittedly, like when you're listening to it, it's going to sound a little too formal. You wouldn't necessarily talk to a girl like that, but we're just trying to give you the most complete version so that you can pare it down a little bit.
Right,
as
and
a guy.
guys, they shouldn't be afraid to practice this stuff. You don't have to
Yeah.
get it right the very first time. I don't want guys to be sitting there in their living rooms memorizing every line before they go out. I want them
You
to
know,
get the idea and go
I
out
agree
there
with you. And in
and
fact,
try it out.
what guys should do is probably find, one or two parts of this routine that they can remember and relate to. Like they can say, well, I can probably recognize that in a woman. Just start little and build up. See how a woman will react to you, coming up with two or three things about her that you noticed. And then, build from there.